also present. So I hope it works this time. Yes, it did. Right, so because I can see quite a few of us have some form of digital presence. Why it keeps doing this? It seems I can't have the best of both worlds. I just have to continue presenting and not being able to see what's happening in the room, which is okay. So I'll just go back to my former. I was trying to see whether there's a way on Google you can share your screen and still see what's going on in the room, but it doesn't seem to work very well with PowerPoint, which is fine. So I'll just rely on just presenting, which is better. So if you have a digital presence online, I want you to remember that digital has changed. About 10 years ago, when I started doing this, Facebook had monetized or turned into, like, we didn't have a business suit like a page. And if we did, we might have, but if we did, it was not as robust and as different as it is 10 years ago. TikTok did not exist. 10 years ago, Instagram was not a monetary platform. Changed in the digital and social media journey. And it is time for us to start looking at it as it stopped being social, to be honest. We call it social media, and it was social media because all these platforms started with the promise of being social, but most of them have now commercialized. That's why they have products. Now there's even Instagram. You can pay to be on a more robust form of Instagram Pro. You can pay on X now. You pay for a lot of many different things. So things have really changed. And while digital has changed, the question is, what have you managed to change with it as a realtor, as a personal brand, as someone who's looking to build themselves? What is it that you have managed to change for yourself as someone who's building their brand? Yes, I can.
So if you could, I know we are not seeing this as the full screen. If on your screen, you can just point, either press F5 on your keyboard or move to the full screen button so that at least we can see this on a full screen. Unaona hapo chini mahali kuna comments.
I'm actually on full screen right now.
Ukienda comments, you go towards
and I'm using a tab. I'm not using a computer. Sorry?
If you on your screen, unaona mahali kuna, are you able to press bars? Perfect. Now you're perfect. We're on screen, full screen mode, and it's perfect.
Okay, thank you. Can I continue, please?
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah, please go ahead. Right. Okay, thank you. So as I was saying, so in the digital marketing journey or in the marketing journey, there are certain stages and steps that everybody goes through. Think about the last time you bought a product or service. You probably did not buy it the first time you saw it. Actually, research says that someone has to see something 7 times before they make a decision to buy it. So, and the first place that everybody starts is visibility. And normally we call that awareness as well. And people go through a process of seeing something. You see it again. Think about the number of things you've screenshotted or saved that you'll probably never buy as well. So think about this thing. And then what does visibility help you do? It helps you to build trust. When you're able to build trust with your audience, and visibility is repeated. There's a reason why big brands and big corporates have never stopped marketing, despite the fact that they are in a space where they seemingly have all the business that they need, right? But they don't stop marketing, they don't stop sharing, they don't stop creating space for they don't stop looking for awareness, basically. So your Coca-Colas, your Safari like KCB, ABSA, and the likes, they have never really stopped building. And the reason why they have never really stopped building is because awareness never stops. And sometimes I find that as smaller businesses and brands, we always forget that. So we start, stop. Sometimes we start, we do it very well for a long time, and then we stop. What does that do? It kills trust. But when you consistently build visibility, then you build trust. And it's important that you build trust. And visibility comes from the kind of content that you create, how you present your brand, what people are saying about you. That matters. Trust also comes from a space of building credibility for the brand. Are you sharing all the activities that are happening? Are you consistently communicating with the market? Are you sharing your story? We are now in the storytelling era of digital and content. We no longer want to be sold to. We want stories. We want interesting insights. We want people who seem like they know what they're doing. We want people with credibility. We want experts in the matter, and sharing the content as experts in the matter. That's how you build trust. Trust, when you've built, generate leads. And when you generate leads, it is now your job to follow up to make sure that you close those leads. So digital marketing is not just about showcasing property. It's about creating a system that turns online at customers. So stop looking at digital as just a space where you go to show the next property. Everyone is doing that, and it gets boring after some times. So start thinking about, how can I build trust? How can I build credibility? And how can those two things help me to generate leads? That's very important. Just let me go to the next slide. So I hope this is visible. I'll try and just zoom in a little bit. So let's go into, why do people purchase, right? And how can you get buyers to actually purchase in confidence when they want to purchase property? So number one, what do you need to identify? It's your identity. So define your niche and your ideal buyer, and then position as an expert and not just a listing agent. I've talked about that previously. Credibility is built through trust, and credibility is built by showing up as an expert in the subject matter that you want to talk about. Think about this. If someone discovered you online today, would they immediately know who you are? Would they immediately know what you want to talk about? And why should they trust you? You are one in a million of other people that they're watching. Let's go into a platform like TikTok, for example, which is a good platform for people in the real estate and property market industry. Everyone is talking about property. You can imagine me as a potential buyer, how many properties come to my page every day. So what is it that is going to distinguish you from all the other people that are talking about this? The second thing is, how are you building that credibility and that trust with your audience? So the first thing is understanding your niche and your ideal buyer. So start to look through, who is it that already buys from me right now? Start to build a profile on them. In marketing, we call that building a persona, your buyer persona, which is basically the ideal customer who buys from you. And that data normally comes from customers that already buy from you. It also comes from customers who you aspire would buy from you. So build that buyer persona. Look into small things like age. There's demographics, so that is age, gender, income, where do they stay. Then look into psychographics, like what are some of the problems that they're facing. How are you there to solve that problem? So begin to build an actual human who is your perfect target market. And then the other thing is clarity. So clearly communicate who you serve and why you serve them and how you serve them. So be very clear. For example, if I look at the people that I actually follow online, I know she's probably doesn't sell property, but she sells land. And it's also because I've worked with her before, Risi, of Risi Investments. She was very clear about her niche being women, and being women who are seeking to buy property but are usually undermined in the market and are normally asked for either obnoxious rates, or they will be undercut in the market, or they are not trusted. And so she built her niche. So look at, how do you want to build your niche? Yes, everybody is your customer, but building a niche is better because then it actually helps you to segment yourself in the market. The other thing is brand. So people come to you if you have a brand. If you have a personal brand, you have a business brand that's actually something that people can trust and have credibility over. And then the last thing is evidence. So showcase expertise, showcase your personality, showcase your clients, show up as human. People actually really do appreciate when they can build a human connection with you. And building a human connection with you does not mean sharing your personal information or your personal life rather on the internet. It just means showing up as yourself. There's also that thing of uniqueness. You could be 10 people in the same industry, but why we like person one is not why we like person 10, because they're very different. So also showing up as yourself is a very important factor in helping you to continue building your brand. So also look into that. I hope you're all good. Please let me know if you have any questions, if what I'm saying is making sense. I will not see the reactions right now, but if what I'm saying is making sense, please do a thumbs up. I'd love to hear your feedback. Again, if you have any questions, reminder to just share them in the chat or raise your hand, and our moderator will be able to assist me because I can't see them on my end. The other thing we need to talk about is platforms. So you do not need to be everywhere. You just need to be where your buyers are. You just need to be where your customers are. So maybe in the chat, and somebody can read this out for me, please share which social media platforms you're on at the moment. Out of the ones that are here on the screen, there's Facebook, there's Instagram, there's TikTok, there's LinkedIn, there's Google. So you have a Google My Business profile, and there's WhatsApp. So please share the platforms that you're on. I'd love to know. I'm just giving you like 2 minutes to share.
Hey Vicky, my media platform is YouTube, and I'm actually trying to stream right now on YouTube.
As I wait for people to share. Okay, that's good. How's that going?
It's tough. YouTube, it's hard to just get started getting views, but once the views start coming, then it's fine. At least the views are fewer on YouTube, but they are more quality. On the other platform, you get more views, but they are not necessarily the right quantity. Like
true.
Thanks.
All right, thank you so much. If anyone else has shared in the comments, you can let me know. Veronica, maybe you can read it out in case anyone else has shared in the comments.
No, there's nobody who has shared. I think it's only what you've put here: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, WhatsApp, Google, LinkedIn. Yeah, I don't think someone else has shared anything else apart from YouTube, from Simo.
All right. Okay, no worries. Feel free to just share in the chat which of these platforms you're on as we go along, but I'll share what is the purpose for each. So Facebook is for local and leads. So for local audiences, communities, listings, and lead generation, Facebook actually has become more of a storytelling platform than anything else. It's become a space for people to share their thoughts, their insights, and also you can put very long form content on Facebook that ideally someone on another platform will not read. So normally we see on Facebook, you can even put a random photo for attention because people are there to actually read. Rather than if you try to do that on Instagram where you have very long captions, nobody will read them. TikTok, very long captions, nobody will read them. LinkedIn, long caption, people will actually read up to the end. So I'm just trying to show you that each platform matters, and how you show up in each platform also really matters. There are different ways to show up in different platforms. So Instagram is for visual trust, so visual property marketing, lifestyle, and brand building. So this is where you put your best photos of the properties. This is where you put your best photos of what you're trying to do. This is where you put all your very well edited videos that have taken a long time to be produced. So this is where you show up with aesthetics, because Instagram automatically picks up aesthetically pleasing content that is high value and that is high quality will go much further than low quality content that is not well thought out on Instagram. So Instagram actually appreciates effort in content. So think about that as well. Then TikTok is for reach. So for reach, for education, for storytelling and property viewing and showing. So TikTok is where you show up authentically. TikTok does not care much for how well how good, okay, it does, but it doesn't matter as much. How well edited the video was, how much lighting there was, and all those things. TikTok is about showing up authentically. We have seen people make money from TikTok from just talking in bed with their hair bonnet, and people actually listening and them being able to build. So TikTok is about showing up authentically. TikTok is also about educating. That is the place you talk. You give is also about your journey as a manager. You're able to share your journey. So TikTok is more about showing up every day, showing up authentically without a lot of effort, while Instagram is a space where you really have to put in a bit of effort when it comes to content. Then we have LinkedIn is for credibility. So for investors, developers, corporate clients, and professional credibility, LinkedIn is where you show up as the expert, as the one who knows exactly what you're talking about. So LinkedIn is a beautiful platform to really try and build trust and credibility with you for capturing people actively searching for property. So this is where you show up with your website. It's where you show up on Google My Business. It's where you update once in a while. It's where you completed a successful engagement with a client. And then WhatsApp is for conversation, it's for qualification, it's for conversion. So WhatsApp as well has become a platform now that is considered part of social media. One, because you can update your status. Two, because you can even have a WhatsApp business line that is directly connected to your Instagram and your Facebook. So it's become the platform where people show up when they want to actually just have direct conversation. So if you're not looking at WhatsApp right now, it's probably one of the platforms that is easiest to start with. You just have to be very consistent with updating your social media, and you also just have to be very consistent with updating your status. There's a way now that you can link all of them, and once you update our story on one platform, you update a story on all the platforms. That is Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp, because they're under the same umbrella. So I hope up to this point we're good. Just a reminder, every platform should play a specific role in your customer and sales journey. So start reviewing your platforms and starting to see which one works and which one doesn't, and which one you probably need to improve on. I will go into the next slide. So what are the qualified attention requires 5 pillars of content. So this is just a quick dive into content. So let's look at within what you're doing. We have different pillars of content. We have education, we have location, we have expertise, and then we have trust. So under education, you can talk about buying guides, financing, investment advice, FAQs. Those are frequently asked questions. Under location, you can talk about the neighborhoods, the amenities, the infrastructure, the lifestyle. And then under expertise, you'll talk about market insights, trends, analysis, and professional opinions. So here you show up with facts, you show up with numbers, you show up with insights, you show up with news. How is the property market changing in Kenya? How is it shifting in East Africa? How is it shifting worldwide? Here you show up with, and then there's building trust. This is why you talk about your testimony. So if you're able to look at this map, which I have created for you guys on content, this content is enough to take you every 30 days. You should be able to rotate among these 4 pillars. And even within the property itself, you can talk about listings, tours, features, and amenities. So you see within these 4 main quadrants, you're able to come up with a lot of different types of content that serves your audience. Because I know one of the biggest things that we struggle with is what do I post is literally the question I get asked the most. So literally, what do I post? Where do I start? So this is a very good starting guide. And you should start looking at it as a way of, okay, based on all these 4 and 5 being property being at the center of it, which ones am I able to start with? Which one is easiest for me? Then you start there. So you start with what you have now, because waiting to start when things have already, when you've taken time, it means you will never start. So this is just a reminder that for you, it is time for you to start now, for you to actually thrive as you start. So start with what you have, start with low-hanging platforms, find one platform that you want to be really good at, and then go into the rest, especially if you're those people who feel overwhelmed. You're like, why do I have to be everywhere? These platforms at the same time. My encouragement is to start with one and then become an expert at it and then build into the others. Remember that your content should actually hone in on a problem that you think your customer is facing, or a problem that you have seen someone is facing, because a lot of people purchase and buy things or pay for things based on a problem they believe you're solving for them. So if you can be able to hone in on what are some of the problems. So for example, if the property has particular amenities that normally other properties don't have, and those properties create a solution of those amenities create a solution of convenience, that is what you should focus on. So also that's a good tip for content, to always focus on the problem and then position yourself as a solution provider for that problem. Okay, so let's go into actual content. So video functions as a digital property view. I think I don't have to tell you guys that in the age that we're living in, video has outdone every form of content that now exists on social media. Also, because our concentration span as humans has become very small, research says that you have between 5 to 10 seconds to capture someone on a video. If your first 5 to 10 seconds are not insightful, they're not fun, they're not engaging, the likelihood that that person will watch that video in full will not happen. And that is where things like hooks come in. So, for example, here I've shared with you a reel format. So a hook is basically something that gets someone to immediately get interested. I don't know how you guys view your videos, but me, hooks get me. So if someone comes and says, you can get a 10-bedroom house at 5 million shillings in Runda, whether that is true or not is a whole other thing, but you've hooked me with the price, right? So hooks are about finding the thing that gets someone to say, yes, I want to listen more to this. I want to hear what this person is saying. And then there's a story, there's the show. So show the property, and then there's a story. So explain why this is valuable, why this makes sense, why they should. And then proof, highlight location, highlight data, highlight things that would make someone do this, and then always end with a call to action that shows the full details of why someone should trust you to actually purchase from you, why you're the right person. So let's go through the different ways in which you can use video. So you can use videos as walkthroughs. We've seen a lot of that, where someone takes a camera, they walk through the property, they show us this is this room, this is this, this is that. Then you can also do short form reels. So short form reels could come in the form of even talking heads. So a talking head is basically where you are the one talking in front of the camera. You can also do virtual tours, you can do neighborhood tours, you can do testimonials, you can do hook videos like what you get for 4 million in a property in Kilimani, for example. You can also do investment breakdowns. You can compare different kinds of investment, their return, and what the return gets you when you buy property. So there's a lot of things that you can do with video. So feel free to screenshot this slide or take a photo of it. I think it's an important slide that gives you ideas of where to start. But these are the different ways in which you can use video. And then I'll go a bit into paid ads. So we still have a bit of time. So I'll go a bit into paid ads, but of course I will not demonstrate a paid ad in this session, but I'm happy to just talk about it and why it matters. So in the world that we're living in right now, because it gets the most engagement, gets the most views, but also gets customers. And so if you view a local market, ule mtu mwenye yusema ni mia Mia, and then there are like 4 people and they're clapping wanasema ni Mia and Gikomba. Those people always seem to have people buying from them versus the woman who's next to them, probably selling better clothes, but does not advertise herself. That's exactly what social media marketing is. So social media marketing and advertising in this case is being louder, it's being more visible, and you do that by putting money and a budget behind it. So meta ads are Instagram ads and Facebook ads, and they have been known to be useful, to be helpful, to also convert when they're done right. And basically, when you look at ads, one of the things I tell you to consider is, one, use an expert to run ads for you, or else you will waste a lot of money. Number 2 is at the same time, look at certain things like what are your goals while running an ad. Also look at what is your budget. Also look at how can you run ads in a sustainable manner that allows you to continuously experiment until you get it right. Also look at the content that you're presenting for the ad. Sometimes we forget that that content itself is what actually hooks someone. So if your content is not very interesting, your ad is not going to perform well. But if your content is interesting, then your ad will perform well. So let's look at ads. So what are ads useful for? They're useful for reaching local buyers, diaspora audiences, investors, and specific property type interests. And what is retargeting for? So when you start running ads, you can actually retarget previous audiences that have worked for you. And then when it comes to Google ads, so Meta ads are for audience targeting, and then Google ads are for search intent. So Google ads is the one where if you search for something, then the first maybe 2-3 links show that it shows ad on the side, or it's blue and it has an ad written on the side. So those are Google ads, and those are search ads. And basically Google ads are very intent on getting new customers. So if you run your Google ads right, you're most likely to convert more than when you do any other kind of advertising. However, Google ads are not as easy to set up, and they're also very and they also take time to actually start to convert. Sorry?
Please go ahead, Vicky.
Sorry, so saying Google ads they take time to convert. They take time to pick up and convert. They also require ads where you can run an ad for 5 days, 3 days, 7 days, 10 days, and you can decide it's not working for me. Google ads require a lot more strategy. Again, for Google ads, I advise that you use an expert to help it set up, and it actually has very good returns. And for this one, because we have just talked about search, there's display, there's video, there's so many different kinds of Google ads that you can run. I mean, nowadays, even with the help of AI, I will tell you, please run this kind of ad on Google because it will help you. So there's also use in that. So what are Google ads helpful for? They are useful for helping to capture active searches. So things like property for sale likely to be found. So Google ads are also about keyword search. So which keywords do you want to be found under? And then which negative keywords don't you want to be found under? That's why I've said it can get complicated. But that is just an overall of what it is. So the core rule here is simply don't boost posts, build campaigns around specific goals. So what is it that you're trying to get your ad to do? Do you just want to raise awareness? Do you want traffic? Do you want leads? Do you want WhatsApp conversions? So for example, Meta ads, you can directly run an ad that takes someone to WhatsApp, and from there they're able to inquire directly on your WhatsApp. You can send someone to your website. You can send someone to give you a call. You can send someone just to view your ad and to like it because you're looking for awareness. So also be very clear about what your goal is before you actually run an ad. So if we go deeper into this, so move people from scrolling to buying with a clear strategy. So, and this is just basically, this is simply like a very simple lead funnel of how to be able to get people. So we've just talked about advertising, and advertising is definitely the way to us, but how do you go through it? How do you go about it? So we start with, at the top of the funnel is the content and the ad. So here, the content and the ad is where we are talking about awareness content, your TikTok content, your Meta Instagram content, and then where do you lead them? And that's where we talked about having your content. What do you want them to do about it? Do you want them to call you? Do you want them to like it? Do you want them to comment? What do you want them to actually do? And then from there, move into a WhatsApp website or the call. So once you have come from content, right? So you take them either to WhatsApp, either to website, or to a call. And then based on that, after that, how are you lead? And this is in forms, could be Google Forms, could be website forms, could be I'm trying to remember, Typeform, which is another platform for just generating forms, and is the right customer. From there, you follow up. And then once you have followed up, how do you book them for property viewing, go into negotiation, and then go into a sale? So this is how your lead gen funnel should actually look like. Make sure you have clear next steps for every time you're engaging with someone on social media. Ask whether, things like DM home or comment home, WhatsApp us for booking, book a viewing, call us for investment. So make sure that you have a very clear trickle funnel for people when you want to add. You're not guiding people into you're not sending them. Sometimes also something that can be helpful that's not here, that your sales expert, if you get them for a training, we'll talk about, is a CRM, a customer relationship management system. So getting people into a CRM also allows you to have a very clear trickle down of how to move someone from social media. Social media has stopped becoming just a platform where we do things and then for fun. It's also a platform where you can actually be able to build a lead generation system as well. So that's also very important. So if we were to think about a lead generation journey, based on all the hundreds of businesses that I have worked with, I have seen one of the biggest mistakes that business owners make is they don't follow up. Basically, just get leads, and then either the leads fall off. You don't actually build relationships with your leads. You don't build relationships with your potential customers. There's a space for just letting leads drop off, which is not right. So the buyer's reality is I as a buyer, I'm still comparing. I'm either waiting for financing, I'm consulting family and friends, I'm relocating, I'm researching and building confidence. So it takes time. And that's why people are not working for me. But if you look, they have unanswered comments, they have DMs that are unresponded to. Then they don't have contact details on their bio. These tiny small things are some of the things that when you finally get a customer who's serious and they can't find some of this, the process of lead generation on social media also has to go along with a clear follow-up strategy. So for example, this is a follow-up strategy right here in visual. So thing number one is like respond quickly and qualify the lead. Respond under to social media. And nowadays social media rates and even tells customers, responds within 5 days, respond in 2 weeks. Already it's discouraging someone from talking to you. Your response rate has to be within 2 hours, within 1 hour, and if possible even within every inquiry, because forgiving. Unlike in other places where people understand that you're busy or that things are happening, if you take a day or two to respond on social media, people have already moved on, fortunately or unfortunately. So try and respond as quick as possible. Then share relevant information, answer questions. This is basically what in marketing is called lead nurturing. Once you have gathered leads, you then have to nurture them so that they can become potential customers, which is also very important. So once you have gathered leads on social media, think through, how am I going to nurture this lead? Sometimes nurturing a lead could take a week, sometimes nurturing a lead could take months. But as long as you are continuously top of mind, the possibility of this person actually coming back to you as a customer is very high. So this is just a reminder that you need to build relationships with actual leads that you generate through social media and even through other ways of marketing. So I hope this step guide actually helps you. And when we go into reports and stuff and just measuring how social media is working for you, remember that you need to move beyond vanity metrics and measure what matters. So we're no longer measuring followers, likes, views, comments. We're looking at more serious metrics nowadays. We're looking at what is the cost per lead. So how much am I paying to generate one inquiry? When you run an ad, getting how much am I spending? Last time I spent 30 bob, this time I spent 60 bob. Why? You need to be able to interrogate that. And then how many qualified leads am I getting? How many inquiries are actually potential buyers? Then how many leads are actually, how many views are actually helping me to generate leads? The other thing is to viewing to sale. How many views are becoming transactions? How many, if I have 100,000 views on something, did I generate, let's say 100 leads, and then after 100 leads, did I generate 10 customers? Because then that gives me a clear transaction that I'm doing 10% conversion on social media. Average social media conversion though is 3 to 5% on any good day, especially in the Kenyan market, in the African market, and then in the Asian and American markets, it goes to up to 10%. We're still not as online trusting as we think we are. We are growing. And then how much is the cost to acquire a customer? Marketing activity is to do better business. So beyond the metrics of, oh, we gained 100 followers, we gained 100 comments, we have this likes, we have this views, we also have to interrogate deeper how much we're actually spending and how much we are making. Because as a digital strategist, and these are now the conversations that I have with clients, if we are not able to interrogate this, then we'll keep repeating the same pattern and expecting different results. So you must be able to also look at your current pattern and then interrogate it, understand it, so that you see what are you changing. Is it our content strategy? Is it our ad strategy? Is it our spending? Is it our budget? What is it that we need to change so that we can make more money? So that also is something that matters a lot. Lastly, I will go into AI. And this is something that was suggested that I should talk about. So I will not go into it deeply. I've just tried and touched on every small topic in its own way. But AI has come not to replace you, but it has actually come to help you do a better job. Let me see if there's a slide over here. Okay, it's not there, but I just wanted to talk about this. So if you check on this middle quadrant, the green one, we say the synthesis insight. So AI should help you to increase your capacity, not replace your expertise or human connection. I hope we are in understanding in that first. So human trust is digital currency, right? So people still want to trust a human. I mean, I don't think in the property space yet people have gotten like robots who are selling properties and they believe them. There's still that need for a human face. However, you can use AI for that can help you to enhance what it is that you're doing, from visuals, from insights, from being able to work a lot faster, from automating your systems and processes using AI. So those are just some of the different things that AI can help you with. So let's talk about so the human side of it is you need to show your face and your team, your credentials, real properties, testimonials, reviews, share accurate information, and marketing expertise. Here, the goal is to give evidence. Don't just tell. Give people actual evidence. Show people what you managed to do. And then on this other hand, content ideas, property description scripts, FAQs, WhatsApp follow-ups, content calendars, lead management, and campaign analysis can actually be done by AI. And then the middle of it is that synthesis helps you to be a much better professional. So I attended an AI training recently, and one of the things that the trainers told us was that the only thing that AI has come to do is to help to integrate you into an AI professional. So into, like, for example, in the digital space, I can now say I'm a digital marketing specialist, right? So I have integrated AI with what I already do, and so it's made me a better professional to do. So in the same way here, I am trying to show you what AI comes to do and what you are a property professional for you to still just enhance what it is that you're doing without losing your humanity and losing the trust. So this will look into how AI synthesizes into what it is that you're doing. So AI will give you content ideas, it will give you property descriptions, it will give you scripts for videos, it will help you to generate FAQs. You can tell as a 10-year as a property manager who's been in this space for 10 years, or as a property, or as a realtor, or as a property professional who's been in this 10 years, you can ask AI to generate for you 10 frequently asked questions that customers ask every day, and use that as content. It can help you to set follow-ups, and you integrate AI into what you can do, content calendars, you can do lead management, you can even automate your calendar so that your bookings are actually well systemized and operated using AI. So this is what it's, and then only you need to do is to show you, build your credentials, show real properties, build your testimonials, your review, accurate in factual expertise, and match your expertise professional, and then give evidence. Remember, don't just tell. So this is how they come together. So AI should increase your capacity and not replace expertise. So based on that, I'm actually coming to the end of my training. Again, myself like 10 to 15 minutes for questions. I think, oh, we have really moved. So as I come to the class, I want to say, don't just list properties, bills. So your next client could already be scrolling, or is maybe scrolling right now as you're talking. So when they find your digital presence, make them stop to true, and then the person that they actually prefer to work with. So I have come to the end. I'll go into a quick Q&A as I also come to the end and just share, if you would like to work with us, these are our contact details. We do coaching, we do training, we do want to help you with that, but I will just go into the previous slide and maybe just have Veronica check in if there's anybody with a question before we.
Thank you, Vicky. Thank you. That was a great presentation. You can leave the last slide with the contact and details so that people can reach out to you. I've learned so much, but I've not learned enough. I feel like just kidogo of what I really need to know about digital marketing. I know maybe some of us have employed digital marketers in the office, but still, we are not there. And I would encourage everyone out there, please let people attend, even your staff attend these webinars so that they can learn. And even you as a person, you learn something. Like now, I really want to know, how do I integrate WhatsApp AI with that? Those are things that I think I'll look out for you so that you can teach me how to go about that, and maybe even have a session in the office. But I'll leave the floor open for people to ask questions. I know we have a lot of questions to ask. We can go ahead. Anyone with a question, just please unmute your mic and ask the question.
So Veronica, from my end, it's not a question per se, but it's to just thank the presenter. I think they've done some wonderful job. Thanks, Vicky. I think I've learned a lot from your presentation, and I've taken a lot of notes that will definitely impact how I do my online and social media marketing going forward. So I really do appreciate that one very much. Uh, from your end, Veronica, could you just tell us about the upcoming summit, if you don't mind?
Sure. I was going to get to that once we have exhausted the questions, and even it's called what, uh, comments, because even comments are welcome. Like for me, my takeaway home as Veronica again is the fact that you've analyzed all the social media platform and where we should advertise. Because some of us concentrate on TikTok. To go TikTok, we are posting 10 times a day. Kumbe, we are not even achieving what we want to achieve. Maybe we would have concentrated on LinkedIn and all that. So that slide is very important for me. And I hope, Vicky, you're going to share these notes with us, with me, so that I can share with the team, and they can go through it um, and see where they can improve. Somebody is saying, Ezekiel, thanks for sharing this knowledge. Definitely would like to have more of this. I would not mind a repeat of the same. I feel the same too, Isaac. I feel the same. So before I go to the summit and where we are doing all these webinars, if there's anyone, is there anyone else who would like to comment on anything? The eyes have it. Seems like we are all good. Thank you so much, Vicky, for the presentation. It was really nice. I've actually enjoyed. It looks like I look for you again, maybe later or tomorrow. Then we can have a chat and see how we can do another session like this. So the reason we are doing these webinars is because we are having a summit that is coming up, or we are calling it Nairobi Realtors Summit, Season 3. We had Season 1 and 2. Now we are doing Season 3. It's going to be at Broadwalk Mall on 9th of October. So this is just a preparation on what to expect on that day. We've aligned a lot of activities for you from morning to evening. We'll start at 7 a.m. with a cup of tea, 11 a.m. with breakfast, 1 p.m. we'll have lunch, 4 p.m. we'll have another cup of tea, and at 6 we'll have a networking session whereby we'll enjoy a few cocktails as we network. So the purpose of this summit is to bring all the real estate key stakeholders together for the purpose of networking and again doing business. We've invited relevant government bodies like the Ministry of Lands, Boma Yangu, the Estate Registration Board, other estate agent networking group, which is led by Wabui Gaida. So we've invited all those bodies, and we are going to have workshop whereby we'll be in small groups. We'll have topics to discuss, come up with recommendations, and then we hand over those recommendations to the government, so that at least we can make this sector a better place and a good place whereby we have level playing ground for everyone else who is doing real estate. We're also going to have universities like UON and KEMU who are offering real estate careers. They'll tell you how you can study real estate and become a registered professional in real estate. So that is the purpose of all these summits we're doing. Tomorrow we are going to have a different summit. I think we're gonna have somebody talk to us about sales. How do we do sales from listing? Again, once we learn how to list and digital marketing, the next thing is sales. How do we convert all these leads to sales? What are the skills that we need and the techniques that we need for us to be able to close the leads? Then on Wednesday, we're going to have conveyancing. We're going to have a commercial advocate talk to us about real estate, what should we look out for our client even before we sell or propose a property to the client. This is what you look out for. Do you do due diligence? And then even after that, what do you advise your client to look out for as they plan to buy a property? What are the gray areas that you can easily identify and know that this property, it's either on riparian, it's either on land, it's not built according to the regulation and all that, it's marked by NCA, all those things that we need to look out for. And then again, she'll also touch on a little bit about the property management, about the association for the owners, because we know nowadays a lot of investors have bought in property, but they don't have control over those properties. So that's also a key area that can help us in our sales. Like when we are selling, then we need to tell them this is a organization that is and the purpose and the use for the organization is as an investor. She'll also talk about the subsectional titles. How long does it take for you to get the subsectional titles? I mean, is it instant? Is it after 1 year? All those things she'll be able to tell us. And then another area that she'll be able to cover is how do we protect ourselves as realtors and marketers into getting our commission, because a lot of us are losing commission there from what do we call dishonest landlords and all that. So she'll be able to take us through all that. And then on Thursday, we'll close on personal branding. So we're gonna have Boris talk to us about personal branding. How do we go out there? How do we brand ourselves? Because customers, they buy what they see. So how do we dress and how do we carry ourselves so that when a customer sees us, buys instant? So it's a lot. We've organized very insightful topics that we are going to learn. By the time we get the webinar, we'll be equipped and ready even to go out there and work and make money. So that is the purpose of these webinars that we are doing. So you can pass the word out there to your other realtors. Tell them that there's a place where you can learn and network and know how to do business. So for us, that is what is